Wow, that's all Bruegel talks about is the methane, the methane, the methane. Wow, Negan finally addressed the one thing I keep saying this entire season.
The methane!
Methane! The goddamn methane! That is all you talk about!
Huh?
Alright guys, this one's going to be doing a review today. This one's going to be doing a review for the Walking Dead universe and another video for the Walking Dead Dead City. We are here guys to cap off Dead City. We are here with the finale of Season 2 and this is Episode 8. So, man, another Walking Dead universe season completed in the new era of the franchise. This is Dead City Season 2 finale, and, well, I thought it was pretty good, actually. I mean, you know, there were some things, obviously, here and there that I didn't like, you know, of course, but there were some things I did enjoy as well. I more so liked it, though. I thought it was good. I thought there were things that were enjoyable. I thought it was kind of a fun conclusion to the season, and there's only one thing that I think they really should have done, which I'll kind of go into, but yeah, you know, aside from that though, I thought it was a good episode. So we start off the episode and we've got Maggie. She's tied up by the Dama. She kind of tries to get loose. I got like all this old footage that's kind of playing through the episode, which I kind of noticed that they played a lot of old footage this episode, kind of to Season 1. Which is interesting, but she finds the key, basically. She tries to get herself, you know, out of the rope or whatever, and then Dama comes in, and she's cutting, like, those stupid, you know, walnuts or whatever, and she kind of notices the key, you know, and Maggie's kind of, like, you know, trying to get out of there, and she's, you know, like, no, hand it over, that type of thing. So Dama kind of talks to Maggie about the idea that Maggie can't get over Negan, basically. She can't get over what happened with Negan. She can't get over what, you know, went down. And obviously, that's a normal piece of, you know, trauma, is that, you know, you're never going to be able to get over what happened, you know, especially when somebody that you love, like Maggie loved Glenn, obviously, you know, is, you know, not avenged fully. So the Dama kind of almost tries to convince Maggie of the idea that she's never going to be able to let it go and never going to be able to raise her son if she, you know, of course, just kind of, you know, lets Negan live. So you have Dama that kind of convinces Maggie of that idea, which I thought was kind of interesting. I do also kind of think it was interesting that they told us how the Dama survived, which is that apparently she had a dummy in her room, like another dead body that she put there and stuff. Of course we didn't see it because that's just what they do. Typical Walking Dead. They don't even show us how the Dama got out of that burning situation. We just see a burnt neck, and that's basically it. So kind of goofy and cartoony there, but whatever. We got Maggie that's sent to, I guess, kill Negan. So this stuff was weird. We got Maggie is sent to go kill Negan, which is kind of her only way of being able to get out of there. You've got friggin' Herschel that's just like, yeah, Maggie, you should go kill Negan and then come on back and then everything will be fine. You know what I mean? I'm like, Herschel, man, honestly, they have ruined Herschel's character. I don't like him at all. I don't know what they're trying to do with him. Herschel just sucks, man. He really does. He didn't even untie his mother or anything, ask her if she's okay, nothing. He's just an absolute idiot. I cannot stand Herschel this season. But anyway, we've got that. Maggie goes off to kill Negan. And, well, in the main plot, we've got Bruegel, of course, who kind of talks with Pearlie Armstrong. They're getting ready to go to battle and stuff. And, you know, you got them to kind of hold knives towards each other and stuff. And he's kind of wondering, you know, what happened to Jenny and stuff. And Bruegel kind of says, like, he's like, yeah, we need to push on, you know. So Armstrong was actually kind of good this episode. I did like some of his back and forth. I kind of liked the, you know, kind of the back and forth between him and Bruegel. And, well, I mean, in general, I thought it was kind of fun because we get them that they take this statue to the meeting with Negan, and in the statue you've got like all these swords and weapons and stuff just in case. Well, they go up to Negan and basically, you know, you got them kind of trading some words and stuff, and they do mention the Croat's gone, which the Croat was not involved in this episode. He's gonna probably be involved next season, or they just concluded him in general, I don't know. But one of my favorite scenes of the episode is when Negan looks at Bruegel, and you've got Bruegel that's kind of standing there, and then he's like, yeah, I don't know if I can trust the food that you're giving us, this big feast, you know? And Negan kind of walks over, takes a bite of it, starts eating it, you know, with him and the rest of his men, the rest of the Burazi, and then, you know, Bruegel kind of buys it, and he's like, okay, we can sit down and have some dinner. Boom, Negan flips the table, and then it's just like the tables have turned, right, if you will. He flips the table, walkers come out, fires rage, and they just go at friggin', Bruegel and the rest of his men. So that was badass from Negan. He's like sitting there eating like an apple while like the rest of this goes down. That was pretty gangster of Negan, I gotta say. That was pretty good. Yeah, no, that was a great ambush. I love that. That was sick. And then you've got Bruegel, of course, he's kind of going through. He's got the flamethrower, of course, and he's using it on Negan, trying to get to him, you know what I'm saying? And, you got a pretty exciting sequence there where they're kind of fighting back and forth. You got their weapons that are laid out. Bruegel's men go down very quickly as well. I mean, it's insane. And you've even got Benjamin in this one that kind of talks to one of the people on the roof, and they're just like, yeah, you're not in that church right now because you're too scared, you know what I'm saying, to be in there. So, it's kind of interesting because as this fight goes on, you've got New Babylon that shows up on boat. Now, this is more New Babylon members, as far as I know. They're here to get the methane, which we don't really see much of them this episode, aside from, like, some cowboy dude that kind of walks up to Benjamin, and he kind of says, he's like, yeah, who are you with? And he's like, New Babylon, so Benjamin's kind of a coward, you know what I'm saying? He's kind of a coward. He's not really loyal to anybody. He's just loyal to himself, basically, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, you've got that goes down, the fight that breaks out, and then, Negan kind of corners Bruegel in a pretty tough spot. So, I love it. You've got Negan that pulls out that old classic Negan. He's got the eeny, meeny, miny, mo vibes going on again. You've got Maggie that's there kind of hiding from behind, and Negan's basically like, all right, between Armstrong and Bruegel, which one of you am I going to kill? And he decides to do eeny, meeny, miny, mo, which, again, very reminiscent of old things, very reminiscent of classic Negan. I like the lean that Negan kind of had to it as well. It was kind of cool, I gotta say. It was really cool. And he did it, and then basically he picks Armstrong, and then he's like, nah, I want to kill you anyway. And he looks at Bruegel, and he's like, you know what? I'm going to do that instead. You know what I'm saying? So he looks at Bruegel, and okay, look, I'm going to be honest. Bruegel was underused this season. I got to say, he was one where I think they needed to give him more screen time, especially because the Dama survives this episode. So I was kind of like, man, couldn't we have, traded, you know what I'm saying? I think that would have been better, but whatever. They kill Bruegel off. Kim Coates is a guest star. Is what it is. Look, I would have done more with him personally. I would have written a bit of a better script for him. But, again, the death is kind of cool, which let's talk about that. You've got Negan that's kind of talking to him, and he's like, we got to get the methane, Negan. You need me. Think of all the things we could do together, And Negan's like, oh my God, the methane. That's all these people talk about. I'm like, facts, bro. Seriously. That's what I've been saying. This whole season, they're like, the methane. You swear the friggin' writers are on methane. Like, it's crazy, man. And anyway, he kills him, he takes him out, he puts the methane inside of his mouth, and then lights it on fire, and it burns Bruegel's mouth, and he goes down like that. And that is a wrap on Bruegel's characters. So, that's crazy, man. That is insane. So, we get that right there. That's pretty nuts. And, we get also a sequence where we kind of minorly see Armstrong run away. Negan kind of runs after him. They kind of have a fight back and forth. And then Maggie kind of comes up behind Negan and stabs him, which I found kind of crazy because I was just like, man, like, that kind of reminds me of the season 1 finale. Remember, like, Maggie stabs Negan while they were fighting? Well, she kind of does that here as well, too, except this time in the back, you know what I'm saying? Which I'm not gonna lie, there was a small part of me where I was like, they better not be killing Negan off. You know what I'm saying? I was kind of worried there for a minute, I'm not gonna lie. Maggie trying to kill Negan, her walking up to him with the bat and stuff, which was in the trailer. That's what it was. Maggie was about to kill Negan. I didn't love that stuff. I'm going to be honest. That stuff was kind of annoying to me. I was just like, all right, like, we know Maggie's not going to kill Negan. You know what I'm saying? So that stuff I could kind of live without or with. I'm kind of, I could take it or leave it, I guess. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. It was still an exciting sequence. And then the reality sets in, though. Maggie sees a walker hand coming through the cell, and I knew right away. I was like, oh, is that Jenny? Is that Jenny? You guys know, I don't like Jenny. I don't like her at all. I don't like the character. She's annoying to me. I never liked her. But I will admit it was a touching scene for Negan, because it kind of reminds you of, like, Lucille a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Like, tried to get her the medications, was preoccupied in what he was doing, killing people, and then when he got back, they were zombies, they were turned. It's the similar type of situation. So I like that the writers went there. I thought that was cool. I mean, also it gets Jenny out of the story, so there's the W there as well too. So I like that. That was cool. I'm not going to miss Ginny at all. I'm kind of going to miss Bruegel, though. I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of going to miss him, you know. But Ginny, I'm good with, you know, you kill her off right there. I'm good with that. Yeah, Maggie decides to help him. And then, well, Maggie goes back to Herschel, and Herschel decides he's going to stay with the Dama. I honestly am zoning out when it comes to this kid. I don't care about his storyline. I don't care about anything to do with the Dama. Like, that plot in 3... I really wish that wouldn't go into 3, but it sounds like it will. Maggie's basically saying, like, listen, you got to figure this out on your own, and until you do, I'm going to stay in the city. So, that's basically how that goes. And then it's kind of this act of redemption. Maggie's kind of acting like, okay, maybe I can finally move on from this whole thing with Negan and, you know, save his life, which they do pull the knife out of his back and stuff. They do help him. And then you kind of show this old footage at the end of the episode, this kind of, like, montage of them, which I found kind of interesting. You know, and they're kind of talking about, like, we finish it together, we get through it together no matter what, you know, let's not be upset about each other, let's not be mad at each other, let's kind of just finish this thing together. So, it was a cool message, you know what I'm saying? It was cool. I kind of prefer the way season 1 ended, though, with, like, the split screen. I thought that was kind of just more badass. Season 1 in general, I kind of just preferred over this season, if I'm being honest. I just think season 1 had more weight to it, you know what I'm saying? There's kind of more, you know, more going on. I think the writing was just a bit better, you know what I'm saying? But overall, though, I enjoyed the episode. I thought it was good. I go an 8 for this episode. It was solid. I think there's some things here and there they could have done better. I don't love everything about it. I admittedly think that the Dama surviving is just goofy. And I just don't really like Herschel. I don't like any of that stuff, admittedly. So that stuff wasn't really for me. But I like the battle. I like what's going on. You know, we'll have to see now. Going into season 3, like, what will we deal with New Babylon? You know what I'm saying? What are we going to deal with when it comes to the Dama? There's a lot of storylines. I'm not sure where it's going to go in 3, but we'll kind of talk about that more once we discuss season 3 predictions. But that's kind of my thoughts overall on the finale. Season 2, we will be doing a full season review, of course, of the season once I get a chance to kind of go over these episodes in full and kind of, you know, rewatch them, and then we'll come back and do a full season review. So stay tuned for that. There will be a full season review later this week. But that's that. Let me know your thoughts, post your comments, and of course, guys, if you're new to the channel and you enjoy videos like this, make sure to click subscribe once you don't miss any of the videos. Make sure to follow me on Dan's Reviews Official on Instagram, guys, and of course, I'll see you guys really soon for more videos of the Walking Dead universe. See you guys in the fall for Daryl Dixon. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and peace out.
Born in the dark alleys, city of concrete. Dan's reviews blowing up, never taste defeat. Walking Dead dissected, every plot twist beat. World gone mad, TV junkies hit a treat. Typing up scripts, marathon through the night. His opinions hit harder than a street fight scene. Every episode, brain sharper than a knife. He's the beacon of critique, shedding TV light.